Welcome to Outside
The
Frackin' Vault.
Yeah.
We're just gonna keep adding words.
It's your boys here.
Your boys jamming in on the. I don't even know. It's late, guys. I feel like we use this as an excuse when we just sound like we're like stupid. We're just like, oh, it's late. Yeah, it's tiredness. You know that obviously explains our
It's just a
lack
case
of
the
direction.
Mondays.
It's Friday.
It's just
But
a case of the Friday.
Friday makes me think of the song "Friday I'm in Love" by The Cure, which is a good song. Relatable.
Yeah.
And then it's like Monday, can't hold my hand. Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't know, something about wanting to stay in bed. It's just,
The thing about
gothic, it's just like, oh, I'm so sad, but Friday I'm in love. So.
The thing about Tuesdays is, they have Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And you walk in and it's the most depressing atmosphere ever. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like Applebee's, but like downtrodden.
Down.
Like you walk in and everything is like bleak and like red lighting. Like, you know what? You know who turns on red lights? I'll leave that up to your imagination, okay? Like in the streets, just think of that.
Roxanne.
Yeah, yeah. Not the new Roxanne, the old Roxanne by the Police. And so that's what Ruby Tuesdays reminds me of. Also, Tuesday's the worst day of the week just because, like, if you think about it, like Monday, sure, Mondays are bad, but Tuesday, like...
At least Monday you had like the high of the weekend.
Yeah. At least, yeah. Monday you're like getting back into it. Like, you don't got to be full rush. But then Tuesday's just like, okay, like, I'm not even halfway done with the week. And
You're not over hump day.
And I'm already tired from Monday.
Yeah, Monday was brutal. Yeah, I mean, there's just, I would agree with you. Tuesday is the worst day of the week, But usually I think of days in the week in terms of like when school things are due. So like the best days are when nothing's due, which means I should probably be doing something. But
we relate our whole lives and our emotional status off of what's due in our classes.
Isn't that so? Just
college student-y.
Yeah, like I don't know. My professor had to like talk about how like grades aren't important today in class because some people like orient their entire lives around like their GPA, which I get is like an important part of school, and especially for some careers is to have a good GPA. But some people like it's an obsession, it just gets like that's the only thing in their life that has any value is their GPA, which means basically, we make fun of ourselves because we like quantify art in our podcast, but like that's sort of like quantifying your life into a number. Right? When you like take your GPA and you're like, this is my life value, like out of a 4-point scale. Like and you can do that not just with GPA, you can probably do it with other things, but like that's just interesting trap that people in college fall into. Although it can be hard for people like Zach who are trying to get into medical school,
Yeah, you had to throw that in there.
But I mean, but it could be a trap for me too because I'm like want to keep my options open of what I can do, and if you have a good GPA, that helps keep your options open.
I can't wait till the day when I don't ever have to think about a GPA because I can't remember the last time I haven't thought about my GPA.
I never really thought about it in high school because I like always got good grades. So
that's true. You did actually.
So like I mean I didn't have as good a GPA as Zach, but like it was still like I like never had to think about it that much.
Yeah.
But now I do, so that's frustrating.
Anyway, what's the most depressing things?
Well, I made a list of the most depressing movies, but like depressing things, I don't know, like cloudy days. Like I have a hard time with cloudy days. Like I get they really get me in the dumps.
Like rainy days?
Yeah, rainy, cold, snowy. I don't really like snow that much. Huh. Like just I like things to be like bright and warm. I'd rather it be like burning, scorching hot than it be like freezing.
When it's scorching and burning outside, is that like a happy day for you?
I don't know whether I'd say it's a happy day, but it's not a sad day.
Okay. So it's just a day.
It's like a day, and it might be like, oh, it's sort of annoying that it's hot, but then I'm like, well, at least it's not like freezing.
Okay.
Which is right now we're in the middle of the winter, which is like I just didn't like.
It's not even that. It's like ice age out there right now. It's like 20 degrees less than that.
Yeah, like the lows are like in the teens or below. Like it's just Ohio at this time of year.
Sorry if we have people from Alaska or Russia listening. Like we know that we're wimps, but still.
Yeah. Our one listen from Russia, I believe.
Yeah. Wait, so when do you have one of those days? With like quotation marks around those. When do you have one of those days, Ben?
Oh, usually, it's like not only is the weather bad, but like there's multiple things in my day I've gotten wrong. It's just like maybe I had like a bad test and then that's amounted upon like...
Like you go to school with no pants.
Yeah, like you just forget to wear pants out the door or something.
Like Chicken Little.
Yeah, yeah, and then you get to class and I'm saying this like I go to most of my classes online, so like what is it like I accidentally turn on my camera or something. That would
And your
actually
shirt is
that
off.
actually could result in embarrassing situations.
That's true.
Like if you accidentally leave your mic on or accidentally leave your camera on now with Zoom, like,
The
and
thing
you
is,
don't know it's on.
it happens too because in Zoom, like there are a lot of people that leave their cameras on and talk horrible about the teacher in Ohio State because
Most people at Otterbein do not have their cameras on. Like they don't require us to have the camera on,
there are
and
some
like so
classes that
there's like
do.
so many classes that are just like full of people, and I think it's better that way because the situations that can happen when people's cameras are on when they're not supposed to be can be a lot worse than when they're off. I would have to say.
Yeah, I would think I would definitely have one of those days if I had like my camera on and my teacher heard some of the things I was saying, like this is the dumbest class ever. Like, why am I learning this? I did not sign up for this. You
Like
know,
I wanted to go to medical school. I didn't want to go to like you know
like I don't. I'm sorry. I don't care about birds. Okay, like I get it. Like we need to learn about birds and like ecology and stuff like that. But like I really don't care about birds.
that is sometimes the hard thing about college is that like you start learning about like really specific things, but like if and I actually a lot of my classes are sort of general at this point, so I feel like it probably only gets worse from here. But like if you're not interested in that specific thing and you're interested in another specific thing, then like you're just having to learn this thing that you don't really want to learn. It makes it a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
Like
No, I agree.
like I think the times where I most enjoy school is when I stumble upon something that I'm like actually really interested
Like
in.
HIV, I'm learning. I have a class all around HIV, and I love that class. I love
Yeah.
disease. I don't love diseases, but I love to study diseases. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I had a class last semester on the history of rock and roll, and I like rock and roll and the genre, so I got to do a presentation on Radiohead, and I enjoyed doing that. So
Yeah.
like those things I was good at because I like enjoyed actually doing them.
Yeah.
Like where and like I learned like in anatomy you learn about different body systems, and some body systems are more interesting. Like the heart and circulation is a lot more interesting to me than the freaking neurological system that is so complicated to try to understand.
That's why it has its own. It has its own study pathway and its own school.
Yeah,
at
but
some
like if I
schools.
were to go a medical route, I probably would not go neurological. I know that
Yeah, you
already.
could be a cardiologist.
Yeah, well, that I don't think I would want to spend as much. I like respect people who can be doctors because they spend a lot of like working hours like
And
doctoring.
yeah, like they
Like-
spend a lot of years.
No, and not just the years to get there, but like once you actually become a doctor, like you have to spend like 50, 60 hours a week, a lot of weeks
Yeah.
working. Where a lot of other medical jobs you can just clock out.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you're when you're the boss.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Especially like being a manager at Chili's and stuff. Like
Dude, the life of managers at Chili's has got to be. Think about it. Chili's is like an establishment that is so highly regarded, and you have to uphold that standard at your Chili's, you know? And you know, think about like the exposure they got when they were on The Office.
like hi, welcome to Chili's.
Yeah, and you got that one Young Gravy song called "Welcome to Chili's." Like, there's different like symbolic pop culture standards
Or the Vine.
yeah, the
Hi,
Vine.
welcome to Chili's.
I'm pretty sure that's probably where the Young Gravy song was inspired from. So you got all these like pop culture symbols, and you gotta like hide that standard. And you're constantly under that pressure, and you're just trying to get your restaurant to be the best. You don't want to walk in and people be like, "Oh, this is that Chili's that is like set like not like complacent and like just not being what Chili's is really meant to be." So
Which is what?
like an atmosphere, an experience. Like when you think of like Welcome to Chili's, it's like an ethereal kind of almost spiritual level
When you
experience.
close your eyes and you hear "Hi, welcome to Chili's," I imagine me walking into an amphitheater, and there are hundreds of people in a row, and I'm gonna walk down, and each one is gonna hand me different foods from Chili's. I'm just gonna taste it and rate it 1 out of 10. And if I don't like it, then the person starts crying and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't mean to do that." And yeah,
It's like this scene from Chef where he gives a negative review, except for they're like sorry and not angry. They're just like really sad that they didn't live up to your standard of what you were expecting service at Chili's to be.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to think about when you're the manager of Chili's. I think it rivals, like the pressure of being a doctor
Yeah.
pretty closely.
Yeah.
If you are a manager at Chili's, then like I would like ask you if you want to like,
Like, have you thought about surgery?
yeah, like have you thought about like pursuing a different career? Like, what's the Chili's manager burnout rate? Like,
Probably like 9 out of 17.
yeah, I mean, I mean, it's got to be tough. Yeah, I just can't even imagine.
What is the worst restaurant establishment?
Burger King.
Why is that?
I just think it.
You
Okay.
said that too fast to not have a story.
Okay. So I just when I don't think I always like when I was a kid, Burger King. It's like it's Burger King. It's like you don't really have that many. But as you get older, you start to notice things. And what I noticed about Burger King, I specifically remember my family took a trip out to Colorado once, and we drove out. And as we were driving back, we went to stop at this Burger King in Topeka, Kansas. Which Topeka, Kansas is an interesting place. It's not like a big city. It's not a small city. It's just sort of like the capital
city.
of Kansas, and just sort of like there. And it's like. It was freaking hot when we went, and we actually went to Chili's on the way. We stopped like on the way there and the way back in Topeka. And the way there, we stopped at Chili's, and that was great. Like Chili's was a fantastic experience. And on the way back, we stopped at Burger King, and this is when I realized Burger King is the grimiest, most disgusting restaurant, fast food establishment you can walk into. The floors are awful. The
floors.
The place, the chairs look like disgusting.
The
like,
floors are
like
horrible.
the people are probably fine. I'm never gonna judge a restaurant based on who works there, but like just the upkeep of Burger King is not as like it's terrible, and they don't set it up for success, and they don't make it try to look presentable. It just looks like a gross like I'm just imagining like what if my burger touched that floor and like. Oh, obviously that would be gross at any restaurant.
Ben,
but
is
like,
there another story between you and the floor that you haven't said?
No.
Did
And
the
then
floor do something
I
to
went
you?
into the bathroom, and it was like the most disgusting. It's like one of those one-person bathrooms, so there's probably like people who are doing drugs in there, and like because like it's a one-person locking bathroom, so like you can't even imagine all the stuff that's gone down in there, and you can just like it's just disgusting, gross. Like again, the
Don't even
floor.
get started about the play area.
Well, I don't even know there's a player, but if there was, I would definitely like. That's probably my best memory at Burger King's is like when I was a child going to some of the play areas. But like now it's like and the food is not good.
Yeah.
I don't really like.
But mainly
Whoppers.
the floor.
But like
Yeah.
the floor is the main problem. If we're being honest.
Yeah, the floor was not solid and it was not level.
Like if we're rating restaurants like on a 10-point scale, one of the points has got to be the floor of the restaurant.
It has to be perfectly level.
If you'll really notice the flooring at most restaurants,
Chick-fil-A's flooring,
yeah,
top notch.
yeah, like but the flooring at most restaurants are actually pretty gross. Like even like what you think about like are they choosing tile or carpet? And then is the carpet
They're not gonna choose carpet.
No, there's places that have carpet, not like this kind of carpet, but like like more like the squares that David has. Like Olive Garden has carpeted floor.
They do?
Yeah,
I
I
didn't even
think.
think of that. Huh.
Maybe some of it's wooded, but I feel like there's like carpet under the booths and stuff.
That's got to be gross. Imagine all the stuff getting in
Yeah,
there.
no, that's why carpeting isn't necessarily better. I mean, I feel like a good tile floor, a good wooded. I don't even know that it would just be like fake wood. I mean, I need to do more paying attention, but I noticed like flooring and like some flooring just looks very unappealing, and it just makes you like not like the restaurant as much.
Yeah, I mean now I do. Now I'm gonna have like distaste for some restaurants just based on their choice of carpeting.
Yeah.
Like if it's an off color of beige, I'm sorry. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
Your food is no longer tasteful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like real picky about these kind of things, but like I mean, maybe it's just like I had this all internally stored in my system my whole life, and I'm just like finally getting a chance to like express these very specific set of like traumatic experiences with floors.
Yeah. No, that I guess it's the same
But
way.
the weird
like,
thing is like nobody ever made me like eat off of a disgusting floor or like do anything like.
so you just thought
I
about
just
it when
thought
you were a
about
kid.
it. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's like me with people under the bed. Like nobody's ever scared me by like being under my bed when I sleep.
Yeah, I was never really scared of under the bed. Well, maybe when I was like really little, but like the closet always scared me. I was scared of like I was terrified of monsters when I was like 2. Some of my earliest memories are like throwing up in my bed because I was so scared. I'm just like crying so hard that I'm like forcing myself to throw up. Like those are my childhood experiences.
Well, okay.
But it's weird because like nobody taught me to be like really even what a monster was or how to be scared of them. I was just like scared of them,
Which
like,
is kind of scary within itself.
yeah.
Are they like innate things that humans can think of?
And then I grew up and met monsters like Zach, and I realized they weren't that scary.
It's true, we're friendly.
And I watched Monsters Inc. and I was like completely cured. I'm like, they just want to make me laugh.
Well, now they do. They used to want to make you scared.
Never mind. Nothing. Yeah, but but I guess that maybe my fear of monsters
Well,
turn into floors.
I was afraid of tornadoes, like when I was really
Oh
little.
yeah.
Like from the age of like 4 to probably 14. Honestly, I was like super afraid of tornadoes. Whenever there was a thunderstorm, I would like, I don't know, I would be up all night just like thinking like, oh, what if a tornado hits the house? Please don't let a tornado hit the house. But there would never be a tornado or anything. But I remember one year, I think I was like 12. My family was living in an apartment. And we were like there was this really, really big storm coming through. And there was like a tornado warning, right?
Yeah.
Or no, it was a watch, and I was like, "Oh no, please don't let there be a tornado." And then it turned into a warning. I was like, I started sweating bullets. I was like, "Oh no!" And I was looking out the window, looking at the weather report, looking on my dad's phone, his iPad, like checking all the different. I had the Weather Channel app. I had like weather.com up. I had the news on. Like I was just making sure that this tropical storm wasn't gonna. It's not a tropical storm, but this storm wasn't gonna, like create the perfect conditions for a tornado, which would destroy my family.
Yeah.
and then a tornado touched ground near our house, and I just started crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a tornado, we're all gonna die. And then like an hour later the storm was gone and I was alive, and I ate like, I don't know, like a popsicle or something. I just remember being like, why am I so afraid of this? And I still was for like 2 more years after that.
I feel like I lived through this experience, like the way that Zach described it. It's very like, yeah. But like, there's definitely things that I felt like when I was younger, I didn't understand like when you like. I always thought that I was like too old to be like experiencing certain fears or like doing certain things. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I really wasn't like. It makes sense, like because I think when you're like 12, like you think you're a lot older than you are when you're 12, or
Yeah.
even like from the ages of like 8 to 12, every year you think you're like old. And then when you get to be like 18, you're like 12-year-olds are so young. They like barely know anything.
And when you get to be like 25, you're like 18-year-olds are so young.
They're so young and stupid. Imagine 2 of them starting a podcast and like thinking that they're smart or something like that.
You're about to scare me.
But yeah, like I was like afraid of like dark basements, like those kind of things.
Well,
Things
those
that
are
people,
still scary.
Yeah, that's true actually, because they're like especially if you watch enough like movies and things that
Look,
are like.
I'm not saying that I'm not capable enough to like defend myself, but I am like, there are moments where like I'm overly cautious because I know if something's gonna come out of that dark corner, if something's gonna come behind me, then it's gonna kill me. So I have to be overly cautious.
Yeah, to be overly cautious. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That is true. Some of those things are still scary, but like I thought I was like too young to like, or too old, not too young.
No, you're never too young to be scared.
Yeah, that's the thing. Fear is just like a natural human thing. And yeah, you gotta grapple with it. It's not like something that you can like overcome per se, but it's something that you can like
Yeah.
not let consume you, Because there's healthy fears and then there's obsessive fears. There's like a
Yeah.
difference.
But the only thing that we should fear is fear itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that and God.
Yeah, of course.
If he exists, or if you don't think he exists, then I mean, you should be thinking about whether he exists or not. I would
then,
argue.
Then that you should be scared of like, what is this all for?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be your fear if you didn't believe in God. Would be like, what? Like, and then I guess you watch Rick and Morty and you're like, there's no point, and then
You're like, I
And
guess
then-
the point of my life is to tell other people that there's no
and
point.
then but I feel like it's sort of a scary, place to go when you like really believe that there's no point in life.
Like, what am I doing?
Like
Why am I filing these
like, I mean,
taxes?
I feel like there's a lot of movies that are like about the like conclusion of like that tale of somebody deciding that nothing matters. It's most of them are like not good endings. So I don't know. But there's a lot to think about. I think when you get older, you start like now your fears are like these type of things.
Like, what if I go bankrupt? Or like, what if I lose my job?
What if I can't get through college and I'm in debt and then like I have to work at Burger King?
What if I get stuck at the bottom of the caste system? Like, there are things
Yeah.
there are things that are actually like serious that you can be afraid of as an adult. But the things I feel like the things that you could be scared of as kids, like you're afraid of monsters, or you're afraid of death, or like tornadoes, or big destructions. Like, I feel like those are worse things to be afraid of. And then when you get older, they become a little bit more pathetic.
Yeah, you're like, I'm afraid that I'm not gonna be able to pay this bill, or like I'm not gonna.
Like this, like your enemies went from monsters to paperwork.
I'm afraid that one of the boys isn't be able to get off work and go drinking with us this weekend.
Yeah,
like your fears are like. Okay, I don't know if that's a fear that anyone actually has.
That was so specifically random. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's I mean I guess that's true. I think sometimes when you're an adult you or as you grow into adulthood. I'm like barely an adult, so like some adults who are listening might be like, "What does this guy know about being an adult?" But like you
Hashtag
you
adulting.
forget like the benefits of being a child, or like the naivety of being a
It's
child.
not even benefits. It's just like fear sticks with you.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
oh yeah, like
changes form.
that. Yeah, that's so true. Like how much your childhood like impacted you.
Yeah, because now Ben won't go to Burger King because of their floors.
Yeah,
Because of his childhood trauma with floors.
yeah. Which I'm not even sure what the correlation is
That means
between
it's
that.
subconscious. You don't know something happened and you suppressed it in your memory.
I suppressed it. You know, it's that super Freudian. I
Yeah.
just said that because Freud is cool. It's cool to say things are Freudian.
Yeah, thanks, Britta.
Freud was super weird though.
Yeah, the Oedipus complex. I would
Yeah,
look that one up. It's a little weird.
yeah. It's not exactly young viewer friendly to
Then there's
explain.
the psychosexual stages of life.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different stages.
Like I think his problem was he correlated everything too much with sexuality instead of
Yeah.
reversing it. Like sexuality is not the root of life. It's like sexuality is part of life.
It's like Robert California. He thinks the root of life is sex.
Yeah,
From The Office.
yeah. So that's our disagreement with Freud.
And Robert
you can
California.
do and Robert California. So you can. It's shocking. We are the first people to ever disagree with Freud. Actually, definitely. I think when I learned psychology last semester, like developmental psychology, I think they were like pretty early on. People disagreed with Freud. They just thought he had interesting ideas, so they still teach them. I think they were interesting in the way that they were presented. And the id, superego, and ego are. I think. I mean, I don't know if that's how it works, but it's like an interesting like way to like process.
Because there's research that can be made upon it, but it's all like, so there's so many cofactors and stuff that
Like,
so many confounding variables.
Psychology seems like it sort of like varies between like philosophy and science. Like it's like a combination of both.
But it's
So, like,
all about
'cause-
human nature
Because
too.
id, superego, and ego seems more like a philosophical like idea that's being like applied to like a scientific endeavor. But
yeah, that specifically, definitely, yeah.
I feel like that can happen in psychology, and maybe now they're trying to make it more of a science. But they do point out in psychology, like they don't understand how the mind works, so it's like really hard to make it like actually scientific, because when you don't actually understand, I mean, you could say that about all of science too. Like science, there's only so much you can put faith in, because science is like the like endeavor for truth essentially, and like that it like if you find a different discovery that like contradicts the point that you thought was true before, that like completely changes everything. So.
That's just science, though. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is a hard one. It's probably one of the. I mean, I don't want to say this, but like, it's probably one of the sciences that is like. There are definitely sciences that are like hard to grasp, but like that's definitely one that like, I feel like there's not a conclusion that you can find. You know.
No, it's like, and I think that's what gets people interested, because if you don't want, like, you're fascinated by the fact that you can't find a conclusion, and like people want an explanation for things, and some things just you can't really have an explanation for.
I want an explanation. Why am I an idiot?
An idiot.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh man. Well, I guess we're getting to the point where we ought to be wrapping up.
This made me depressed.
Yeah, I don't even know what we're gonna title this episode. It could be titled a lot of things, because we delved into a lot of subjects, guys, that were really, you know,
We covered a lot of ground.
we went from like, you know, Chili's, Burger King floors, the my traumatic experience with floors, childhood development, our
Fears.
disagreement with Freud's relationship with sexuality and his research. Like it just went kind of all over the place.
We'll just title it something.
We'll just title it something.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed this, because, you know, this is like a real labor of love that we're doing over here.
Yeah.
That we totally plan out.
Yeah.
Very
We planned
meticulously.
all 7 of these topics
Yeah.
meticulously.
We have a storyboard over there that like storyboards them all out.
Yeah. And like, how do we transition to this? Like, we practiced and rehearsed it.
Yeah. So we hope you don't think that our podcast is like authentic or anything.
Yeah.
Or like off the cuff, you know, that wouldn't
Yeah.
be
I mean, it's
us.
authentically prepared.
It's authentically staged.
Yeah. Yeah. So just put that into your brain, okay?
Yeah.
Use Freudian signologies.
I wonder whether we talk to people like we talk to the audience, and this might be my fault. Like, do we talk to the audience more than other podcasts do?
Yeah, but that's just how we do it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's like we just gotta embrace that, you know.
But we also talk to each other. I think we ask questions to the audience, but then we answer the questions
Yeah,
that we
I
ask.
think that's true. Like I think it's weird because I'm talking into a mic, or we're both talking into the same mic, and I'm like thinking of like the mic as the audience. So when I ask a question, I'm looking at the mic, and then I'm looking for an answer from Zach.
Yeah.
After I look at the
Like,
audience.
what do you think about this? I'm asking the audience, but then Ben answers it, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, Ben, why are you answering this? Every time it like surprises me a little bit. Like, wait, oh wait, this is a Mike.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought his name was actually Mike. Yeah, that was,
Okay.
that was better than your Pink Floyd theory.
That was so creative.
It wasn't even yours. Okay, anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, I guess we'll get back into the vault. And we'll close. Wait, that was lame. Wait, I'll just press the button. We have an automatic closer. No. Boop. Diddle it. Dude.
It.